Peace, love, and light coming on here to bring a message. If this message resonates with you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Um, I'm gonna start this. It feels like a conversation, really, because it's a conversation. I feel like I've been led to have regarding names, the importance of names, what's in the name. And, there are various sentences that we've heard before regarding names and the importance of names. You may have heard people say, oh, this person's gonna, make a name for themselves, or they've made a name for themselves. Various things that we've heard. Well, this gives the impression that names are important. And we see that in the society that we live in the world that we live in. Oftentimes we place value on a name, whether or not you are someone that people know, whether people know your name or not, it seems to be important. Yet the consideration that we oftentimes don't give to knowing a name is what comes with that name. What have those people done to earn that name? And I feel like a lot of times we don't give importance to the actions behind the name. We give more importance to the fact that people know the name. Okay? And how did this conversation actually begin? It began with me just actually watching someone that's considered to be famous conduct I believe it was like some sort of like a class. And Spirit spoke to me and said, you see that person? A lot of people will come and see someone do something based on the fact that this is someone that is quote unquote well known. Well, the term well known implies that people know this person, right? And like a lot of people know this person, but how is it that this person gained their popularity? What is it that they had to do? Many of us get to know that you may know someone by name, yet not everyone gains that popularity that they have by, conducting a righteous life or living with integrity. Yet for whatever reason, it seems that regardless of whether the person gains that name with integrity or not, what matters or what seemingly matters is that this person has gained some sort of popularity and people know them by name. And so this implies that if a lot of people don't know your name, then it's like, well, who are you? And that's even a question a lot of folks have asked. Well, if you introduce yourself to someone and you say, oh, okay, I do this, that, and the third, and the person may be like, well, how come I haven't heard of you before? So it kind of gives the implication that whether or not people know you makes you credible. And credible does not necessarily mean that you've lived a life of authenticity, that you've lived a life with ma'at energy, balance, peace, justice, reciprocity. It doesn't mean that. And perhaps this conversation is important because sometimes we give too much importance to the people that we know by name. A lot of times we tend to actually put them above ourselves and, and kind of seemingly it seems as if because people know them by name that they're able to do something that we're not. I believe sometimes it even deifies the person, and I think that's part of what the objective is. A lot of times is that society picks and chooses who it is that they're going to make famous, that they're going to give opportunities to based on the agenda at hand. So I feel like that's something that we should keep in mind a lot of times is that people become famous and you know their names, not necessarily because they've lived a life of authenticity, a life of integrity. they become famous and they become someone that you know their names because they've been picked by, certain people in positions, because those people are going to uphold certain images that society wants to fulfill. So, let's be very clear about that. Let's be very clear that names are not necessarily, knowing a name doesn't necessarily mean what we think they do. And more importantly, this is the point that I want to get at with this conversation, is that you who have not seemingly made a name for yourself, you who have been working, and people do not know you by name. The divine wants you to know that it's better to be known doing something with integrity by very few people than it is to be known by many doing the things that are not righteous, that are not going to allow you to gain a righteous life, right? And it's better that people learn to put respect on the name that you have than for them to know you by name. And it's interesting because before I started this conversation, I was going to title it "They Will Know You by Name." It's kind of like implying, well, you want people to know you. Yes, sometimes that's the case, sometimes that's not the case. A lot of folks that are very well known are not always living peaceful lives. They're not always able to go out and do the things, that someone that is not in the spotlight gets to do. Okay? So know that with asking the divine to be in the spotlight, it comes with certain things. Okay, and this kind of reminds me of the quote from Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. And the responsibility is oftentimes one that many are not ready to carry. There's great responsibility in a name. There's a lot in your name. Your ancestry is in your name. Okay, your spirit guides are in your name. There are very powerful forces that are in your name. There were certain planets that were specifically aligned a certain way when you were born, and when you were named what you were named, it carries a certain purpose. Now, nowadays, naming may not be as significant, and depending on the culture that you're in, it may not hold as much significance. But and names are very important, and our ancestors knew this. Our ancestors knew the importance of names because essentially it determined your life purpose and how you would carry yourself. It also determined the responsibility that you had or have within that society to uphold that name, because upholding that name not only means that you are upholding your future, it also means that you are carrying your ancestors with you, and with respect. So think about that as you think about, for some of you, the desire to be known, right? And some people say that they would rather be like, they don't want to be famous. They don't necessarily want someone to know them. I would say it's not necessarily so much as having a lot of people know you. It's that the few that know you, whether it is a few that knows you, the few that know you to be someone who is upstanding, who walks with integrity, who is grounded, okay, all the positive attributes, who carry their ancestors, who someone your ancestors would be proud to see you, who's someone that your spirit guides, look upon you with with love and respect. All the powerful forces walk with you. When they see you, they see that you are walking a life of truth, justice, reciprocity, and ma'at, type of energy. So some of you people are going to know you. You are going to be someone who is known by your name. And with that name, it's going to bring a lot of responsibility, and it's also going to bring a lot of um, respect based on how it is that you got that name. Okay? Because when people meet you, right, when people meet you, they learn your name. It also comes with all the stuff that is attached to that name. All right, so hopefully this is a conversation, or it really wasn't a conversation, but it was just a divinely inspired message. So I hopefully this message helps someone who is on their path to achieving their greatness. Do not let you not being known deter you from fulfilling your purpose, because essentially the name that you're going to make for yourself is going to be great. Peace, love, divine light.